Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And it's again so good to see you all here. So next week we will be having a guest speaker, Shodo Spring, who will be talking about her experiences with this Mountains and Waters Sutra, as she assisted Shohaku Okamura in editing his excellent commentary on this work. So we look forward to that. We're just about, in our discussions here, just about to the end of this Mountains and Waters Sutra. My impression is that Dogen challenges us more and more as you go deeper and deeper into this work. So the section I would like to talk about today and try to hopefully make applicable to our daily lives is this one. First of all, I'll just read excerpts from the sutra, the section we're going to be talking about. Keeping in mind first that really the whole sutra, the several pages, 8 pages or whatever it is a riff on this little poem of Daokai's from who lived about 100 years before Dogen. And this little poem, "The green mountains are always walking, a stone woman gives birth to a child at night," which is, Daokai really doesn't explain, he just throws it out there for us to try to understand. And let me see, I hope I still have what I'm intending here. Sorry. Okay, good. He just throws it out there, and then and Dogen sort of takes it and runs with it and does riffs on it, just like a jazz musician might take a melody and not consider it a done thing, but just use it as a starting point for creativity. So in working with that, Dogen states the following in this translation that is from Kaz Tanahashi. "You should not just remain bewildered and skeptical when you hear the words mountains flow, but together with Buddha ancestors, you should study these words." I'm thinking I need to be farther along. Getting a quick review here. So mountains have been the abode of great sages. From the limitless past to the limitless present, wise people and sages all have mountains as their inner chamber, as their body and mind. Because of wise people and sages, mountains appear. You may think that in mountains many wise people and great sages are assembled, but after entering the mountains, not a single person meets another. There is just the activity of the mountains. There is no trace of anyone having entered the mountains. When you see mountains from the ordinary world and when you meet mountains while in the mountain's head and eye are viewed quite differently. You should not just remain bewildered and skeptical when you hear the words mountains flow, but together with Buddha ancestors, you should study these words. When you take one view, you see mountains flowing. And when you take another view, mountains are not flowing. One time mountains are flowing, another time they are not flowing. If you do not fully understand this, you do not understand the true Dharma wheel of the Tathagata. An ancient Buddha said, if you do not wish to incur the cause for unceasing hell, do not slander the true Dharma wheel of the Tathagata. You should carve these words on your skin, flesh, bones, and marrow, on your body, mind, and environs, on emptiness and on form. They are already carved on trees and rocks, on fields and villages. So, my gosh, what do we make of that? Well, just as the Buddha emphasized that there is no fixed, permanent self, that such a thing is not present, at least we can't find it. Dogen is emphasizing in this work about having no fixed views, about there being multiple views of things. And he encourages us to see things from different perspectives, from in the mountains and from outside the mountains. In the mountains seems to correspond to him to seeing with the eye of Dhamma, liberated from self-centered view, liberated from attachment, aversion, delusion. And he says, in the mountains, no single person meets another person. Well, in the mountains, there is no single person because persons don't have singleness. The distinction between self and other is not there. The interconnectedness of everything is perceived. And mountains can sometimes be seen to be flowing, other times not flowing. So there is motion and there is stillness. And the motion is continuous. The stillness is continuous. Because within each moment, there is absolute stillness. Now, this sounds like a contradiction. From our ordinary way of thinking, we think, okay, there's motion or there's stillness. There is one or the other. There's the law of excluded middle. We've got to have either motion or not motion. But rather than seeing this as a contradiction, In the mountains, this is viewed as the paradox of our lives, the paradox of human existence. That stillness is always available to us, but the motion is unceasing. So Dogen is encouraging us to have multiple views of things, multiple perspectives, to take the effort to view things in all kinds of different ways. And in each moment, to investigate each moment. I think of this like a performer who has a sense of the room, who is not just involved in doing their acting or playing their instrument or singing, but is at the same time sensitive to everyone in the audience, reading the room. Or in Police Academy, where they talk about having situational awareness, reading a situation, not just involved in being called to a certain place for a certain thing, but noticing everything around and revising one's understanding moment by moment to allow the most skillful response. And with this reading, talking about slandering the Dharma and exposing oneself to unceasing hell, this is sort of a typical Dogen exhortation that he inserts at various places throughout his writings to emphasize, I think, the importance of what he is trying to say. And I think to interpret what he is trying to say is that we should all, head to the mountains and be in the mountains and abandon all of our flaws and limitations, our propensity to self-centeredness. To say that that is what he's trying to get across, I think, would be underestimating Dogen. When I read this passage, for some reason, what comes to mind is a phrase that Dogen uses in many of his writings. Shoshaku Ju Shaku. Shoshaku Ju Shaku. Which can be translated as error upon error, or succeeding error with an error. Shunryu Suzuki, the first abbot of the San Francisco Zen Center, translated this as one continuous mistake, when he said that the life of a Zen master, he was including himself there, The life of a Zen master is one continuous mistake. Kind of a shocking statement. That what we strive for is to be able to seamlessly enter and leave the mountains. Dogen talks about there being no trace of someone entering the mountains. That we can move back and forth between our ordinary way of seeing things, which is vitally important, we can fully understand that this whole notion of ownership and possession is just a fabrication made up by humans. But on the other hand, when we go out to the parking lot, it's important for us to know which car to get into. And then Shunryu Suzuki goes on to say that Shoshaku, Jushaku also means one single-minded effort spanning over years. One single-minded effort, one continuous mistake. So that we're always in the process of motion and stillness, action and reflection, assessment of our situation, action to the best of our ability, being as skillful as we can, reassessment, reflection, and subsequently more action, back and forth, continuously. And to say that enlightenment is seeing things as they are, I've heard that definition before, and it always disturbs me. How can we possibly see things as they are? We're limited humans with all of our foibles. We can't really see things as they are, but we can make an effort. We can make an effort to get outside of our usual limited view, see different perspectives, try new things, make mistakes, reflect on them, and move on. One continuous effort that never ceases. So enlightenment is not a place to land, but it's a process that never ends. So I think I'll stop there. I would be interested in your thoughts on this passage. I've kind of broadly interpreted it, I know. But what do you think Dogen is trying to say? What do you think about one continuous mistake. Shoshaku, Jushaku. What are we trying to do here? So thank you very much for listening. And I'll stop the recording.